Grace-Filled Thoughts on Religion and Spirituality, Part 1. When considering the role of adversity in life and its representation in religious discourse, one may find that traditional religious narratives often focus on struggle, sacrifice, and hardship as central elements for spiritual growth. While there is no disputing that life comes with its fair share of challenges, framing these aspects as primarily negative can have unintended consequences on our spiritual journey. It's almost as if adversity sells religion. It's the cliffhanger that keeps us tuned in, waiting for redemption or divine intervention to rescue us. But what if we change the channel? For a moment, consider a new perspective or transformative approach to spirituality, one that focuses on the positive aspects of the human experience for the eternity of your spiritual and religious journey. For example, embracing adversity as an opportunity for growth rather than a judgment, punishment, or test. This new perspective requires a proactive shift towards love, faith, and hope, elements already present in the essence of most religious teachings, but sometimes overshadowed by the emphasis on sin, guilt, hardship, and retribution. Consider love as the lens. At the core of this perspective change is love. The New Testament itself describes God as love, and various spiritual traditions advocate for a love-centered approach to life. When we view our challenges through the lens of love, we are operating from what is often referred to as above-the-line behavior. Instead of focusing on what we lack, what we need, or what we must ask from the divine power, we begin by acknowledging the goodness that already exists, our relationships, our experiences, and yes, even our challenges, and go from there. Love, as described in spiritual traditions and sacred texts, isn't just an emotion, but a state of being. When we intentionally approach life's challenges, joys, and everyday moments with love, we elevate our consciousness and actions to a higher vibrational, more aligned state I describe as above-the-line behavior. Operating from this higher vibration of intentional feeling does more than just change our attitude. It fundamentally transforms our perspectives and experience of life. It shifts our focus from scarcity to abundance, from neediness to gratitude, and from petitioning a divine source for more to acknowledging and cherishing the richness that already permeates our lives. In doing so, we create a spiritual atmosphere around us that is ripe for blessings and growth. Love becomes not just a lens through which we view our challenges, but a catalyst that turns those challenges into opportunities for even deeper connection and understanding. By acknowledging this love in all its forms and intentionally focusing on that love first, be it in our relationships, our experiences, or our challenges, we not only enrich our lives, but also radiate this powerful love outward. The synergy of gratitude. Synergy in spiritual practice is about aligning our actions, thoughts, and prayers in a way that multiplies their effectiveness. Instead of a prayerful posture that constantly asks, this above-the-line approach suggests that we first acknowledge the beauty that surrounds us, our unique circumstances, and our very being as an act of recognition and gratitude for what is already present in our lives. This opens the door to the positive love vibration we seek. The practice of gratitude is an incredibly potent tool in our spiritual repertoire. Gratitude serves as a magnet for abundance, amplifying the positive energy in our lives and consequently drawing us closer to the divine. This isn't mere wishful thinking. Numerous spiritual traditions and even scientific studies have highlighted the transformative power of gratitude in our mental, emotional, and spiritual well-being. When we approach the divine with a sense of gratitude, we fundamentally shift the dynamics of our spiritual dialogue. No longer is it a one-sided conversation where we are constantly asking, pleading, or petitioning for something more. Instead, it becomes a mutual exchange of love and appreciation. The divine, whatever your conception of it may be, is thus not a distant entity to be appeased, but a loving presence to be engaged with in an ongoing relationship. Acknowledgement and gratitude helps us see our lives, including our challenges, as part of a meaningful narrative, and though we might seek relief, we may be more inclined to seek wisdom and options for its resolve. Instead of seeing obstacles as punitive measures, we come to view them as stepping stones to something more meaningful. This elevates our consciousness from a scarcity mindset, where we are perennially in need, to an abundance mindset, where we recognize and celebrate the richness already present in our lives. The very act of being thankful changes the vibrational frequency of our thoughts and feelings, allowing us to resonate more closely with our true selves and the divine. By incorporating gratitude into our spiritual practices, we enhance their synergistic power, creating a feedback loop of positive energy. We not only invite more blessings into our life, but also increase our capacity to recognize and appreciate them when they do arrive. We begin to live in the moment, acknowledging all that's around us, and we're more intentional in our choices. It's a beautiful cycle that reinforces itself. The more grateful we are, the more attuned we become to love. And the more attuned we are, the easier it is to sustain a state of gratitude and our connection to the divine. Prayerful power of positive intention. Famed author Napoleon Hill's idea that everything starts with a thought aligns perfectly with this perspective. The power of positive intention is recognized not just in self-help books, but also in sacred texts. A prayer that begins with acknowledgement, gratitude, and positive intention is likely to be more effective because it comes from a place of abundance, not scarcity. Positive intentions resonate on a higher vibrational planes, just like gratitude, attracting similar energies in return. As Esther Hicks, author of The Law of Attraction, suggests, like attracts like. The concept of positive intention holds a transformative power that goes beyond just wishful thinking. It becomes a magnetic force that influences not just our actions, but also our outcomes. Rooted in spiritual wisdom and mirrored in modern psychology, the idea aligns that the quality of our thoughts directly impacts the quality of our life. If you believe that you have a hard life, you indeed have a hard life. When applied to our spiritual practices, positive intention sets the stage for a richer, more insightful experience. Instead, you think, see, and experience what a wonderful life you do have. In the realm of prayer or spiritual communication, starting with a positive intention isn't just an optimistic approach, but an empowering one. When our prayers or meditations are framed with acknowledgement of the good that already exists in an expression of gratitude, they emanate from a space of abundance rather than lack. When we send out high vibrational, positive intentions into the universe, we attract similar energies, insights, and blessings in return. This doesn't mean negating or ignoring challenges, but rather approaching them from a place of love and understanding, confident in the conviction that even challenges hold embedded gifts. As we align our intentions with this higher vibrational frequency, we become more attuned to spiritual wisdom, enabling us to perceive insights and inspirations that might otherwise be obscured. The wisdom to refrain and the courage to ask. Meekness and humility, often advocated in religious teachings, are not in opposition to this approach, but are rather its complements. Meekness is about knowing when to act and when to refrain, while humility keeps us grounded as we interact with God, the divine, a higher power, or the infinite. Meekness and humility serve as guiding virtues in our spiritual practices, allowing us to approach the divine with both a sense of wonder and an open heart. Meekness teaches us the discernment to know when to step back and allow the divine flow of life to unfold. It's about relinquishing the need to control every outcome and trusting in a greater wisdom. Humility, on the other hand, helps us remain centered and grounded, reminding us that while we are co-creators in this divine play, we are not the sole authors of our destiny. This humble and yet proactive approach becomes especially empowering when coupled with direct, transparent, and genuine communication with God or the divine force you resonate with. Being direct and transparent in our spiritual communication isn't a sign of impertinence, but a deep respect and intimacy. It implies that we consider our relationship with the divine to be so secure and loving that we can be vulnerable, revealing our authentic selves without the fear of judgment. This is where the courage to ask comes into play. It's not about demanding, but about aligning our desires with a higher will and inviting divine participation in our lives. Remember, God knows our heart before we speak it. When we present our intentions unclouded by fear or apprehension on how we articulate them, we amplify the possibility of receiving divine guidance and insights. In being direct, we acknowledge our relationship with the divine as a dynamic exchange, vibrant, evolving, and rich in potential for growth and understanding. So when you approach the divine with specific intentions, start with acknowledgement and gratitude. Be transparent in your communications, vulnerable in expressing your genuine feelings, and courageous in asking for what you seek. But of all else, speak with love in your heart for the divine and for yourself. Divine readiness to respond. God, heaven, providence, or whatever term you choose for the divine that governs the universe, is more often willing to assist us than we give credit for. Instead of viewing God as a judge waiting to pounce on our imperfections and misdeeds, we see providence as an ever-ready source of support and love, eager to fulfill our righteous desires and good intents. Even in the pursuit of small objectives, the universe is prepared to respond positively. The notion that heaven, providence, God, or the divine is inherently supportive reshapes our spiritual landscapes, transforming it from a realm of judgment to a space of boundless love and assistance. Focus on that perspective. Instead of seeing life's challenges as tests or punishments, this view allows us to interpret them as opportunities for growth, supported by a universal framework that is attuned to our well-being. Even our smallest, heartfelt desires become avenues for divine cooperation. This transformative perspective does not negate the importance of personal responsibility. Rather, it enhances our actions with the energy of divine partnership. Our spiritual practices like prayer and meditation shift from mere rituals or pleas to an empowering dialogue with an ever-present loving force. This belief liberates us from fear and isolation, offering a fulfilling, interconnected existence underpinned by the ultimate truth that God is love, and so are we. Balancing adversity with love. This fresh perspective on religion doesn't discard the richness of traditional teachings, but rather adds a new layer that perhaps makes them more accessible and empowering for seekers of the truth and understanding. It invites us to balance the narrative of adversity and challenge with one of love, positivity, and the promise of divine aid. Religion, in its truest form, should be a force that uplifts and not one that suppresses. When religious tenets are framed in a way that generates a sense of hope, love, and positive expectations, they can serve as powerful catalysts for transformative experiences, both personally and collectively. For too long, religious dialogue has been rife with divisiveness, often focusing on what separates us rather than what brings us together. By approaching spirituality and religion with an open heart and an inquisitive mind, one that welcomes both ancient wisdom and modern insights, we're talking about a faith that not only respects but celebrates the broad spectrum of human experience and divine understanding. When our faith is rooted in love and positivity, our lives become an expression of those divine qualities. Everyday actions take on a higher purpose, challenges become opportunities for growth, and our interactions with others become more compassionate and understanding. This is far from a naive ideal. It is a practical, achievable reality that starts with an individual's intentional focus on leading with love. And consider this. As we elevate our own vibration, we experience a rise in spiritual awareness. We start to see that God, or the divine, isn't just an abstract concept or a figure in ancient texts, but a loving, omnipresent force actively participating in our lives in extraordinary ways. In this balanced spiritual ecosystem, traditional religious teachings aren't outdated. They are foundational. They serve as the roots from which new understandings grow, nurtured by love and a broadened sense of possibility. This is religion at its most transformative. A force that doesn't bind us but frees us to explore the depths and heights of our own divine nature.